Warsaw, 1943. Inside a villa on zoo grounds, someone is playing piano. Outside, German inspection teams. Pig farming papers are tacked to every gate, the legal fiction of an authorized farm. Inside, people hidden in animal enclosures, in basement, spaces, in the walls of a house that had learned to mean two things at once. The piano was not a decoration. It was a signal system. A specific piece meant, stay down, don't move. Someone is here who must not know you exist. This is how a zoo became one of the most effective rescue operations in occupied Europe. Not through heroics, through paperwork, piano music, and the precise management of appearances. Warsaw, 1938. A woman plays piano in a villa at the edge of a zoo. The animals are close enough to hear. The city is close enough to forget. The Warsaw Zoo, situated in the Praga district on the eastern bank of the Vistula, was by the late 1930s one of the more respected zoological institutions in Central Europe, a functioning civic organism with a director, Jan Żabinski, a trained zoologist who had built its collections methodically over the preceding decade. His wife, Antonina, managed the household embedded within the grounds, a villa that sat at the operational center of zoo life, animals cataloged, enclosures maintained, visitors regular. Jan held access to Warsaw's municipal parks infrastructure. Antonina held the domestic rhythm of the villa. What the zoo looked like in 1938 matters, because what it would become by 1943 was its precise opposite. And the distance between those two things is the story. September 1st, 1939. German. Aircraft cross Polish airspace. Within days, bombs fall on the Praga district. The Warsaw Zoo is not a military target. It is struck anyway. Animals are killed in their enclosures. Others escape into the city. The institutional life of the zoo, its collections, its staffing, its civic function, collapses in a matter of days. What had taken Jan Żabinski a decade to build is structurally intact but operationally destroyed. Into this wreckage arrives Lutz Heck, director of the Berlin Zoo, member of the Nazi Party, holder of authority over zoological assets in occupied territories. He moves through the damaged grounds and selects. Prized specimens, bison, lynx, others, are transported to Berlin. The Warsaw Zoo's collections are redistributed into the Reich's institutional infrastructure. German occupation authorities subsequently authorized Jan Żabinski to maintain the grounds for pig farming. The enclosures are emptied. The grounds remain. The authorization papers are issued. The zoo is now, officially, a farm. This was the mistake the occupation made. They handed Jan Żabinski a legal document. They did not consider what he would do with it. November the 16th, 1940. German occupation authorities seal the Warsaw Ghetto. Approximately 400,000 people, the largest concentration of Jewish inhabitants in occupied Europe, are enclosed within a perimeter wall in the Śródmieście district, less than 2 kilometers from the zoo's western boundary across the Vistula. Movement across the ghetto's borders is controlled by German authority and punishable by death. Jan Żabinski holds documentation that allows him to cross. His role in Warsaw's Municipal Parks Administration gives him authorized access to the ghetto's grounds, ostensibly to inspect vegetation, to maintain horticultural continuity across the occupation's administrative divisions. He enters. He observes. The ghetto's population is being compressed. Its food supply is systematically restricted. Starvation is not incidental. It is operational. Here is the thing the occupation did not think through. The authorization that gave Jan access to the ghetto was issued by the same administrative apparatus that was simultaneously organizing the ghetto's starvation. Both functions operated under the same occupation authority, recorded on the same category of paperwork. The passes permitted entry. The occupation never specified what a man with regular, authorized, documented entry might choose to carry back across the perimeter. That oversight would cost them dearly. July 22, 1942. German SS and police units begin the mass deportation of Warsaw Ghetto residents to Treblinka extermination camp. The operation runs through mid-September. Approximately 265,000 to 300,000 people are transported and killed within that period. The pressure on the ghetto's remaining population becomes absolute. Those who can find a route out begin to move. The route to the zoo does not appear in any German administrative record. It does not exist in occupation files. What does exist in Antonina's wartime notes and the Yad Vashem recognition record is the outcome. Jewish individuals and families begin arriving at the zoo grounds. They are moved into the villa, into basement spaces, into enclosures that once held animals and now hold people behind the same walls. Antonina manages what the villa requires, and here's the detail that makes the whole operation comprehensible. The concealment was not built on top of ordinary life. It was woven into it. German inspectors who came to the ground saw a farm. They heard a piano. They observed a household in functioning domestic order. The infrastructure that sheltered refugees was not a parallel structure hidden beneath the surface. It was the surface itself, read differently by different eyes. The piano piece that meant stay hidden was the same piano piece Antonina had always played in the evenings. That is the mechanism. Ordinary life, maintained with surgical precision, deployed as cover. April 19, 1943. The Warsaw Ghetto uprising begins. The remaining Jewish population of the ghetto, approximately 50,000 people following the 1942 deportations, rises against German forces ordered to complete its liquidation. The fighting continues for 27 days. German forces deploy artillery, armored vehicles, and systematic building demolition. The ghetto burns. From the Praga district, across the Vistula, the smoke is visible. Warsaw residents documented what they saw from the eastern bank. Columns of smoke rising over the Śródmieście skyline. The sounds of combat and demolition carrying across the river. The zoo's villa stands within that line of sight and that acoustic range. Consider what that means for the people hidden inside. They are sheltered in a building from which they can see or hear or smell the destruction of the community they came from. The concealment that worked through ordinary domestic life had not been calibrated for this. There is no documented account of what those weeks required of those concealed on the grounds. The stillness, the silence, the discipline of not reacting to what was visible through every window. That silence is itself part of the record. On May 16, 1943, German SS commander Jürgen Stroop ordered the demolition of the Great Synagogue of Warsaw as a formal signal that the ghetto uprising had been suppressed. The ghetto ceased to exist as a physical district. Its population had been killed, deported, or had escaped through routes like the one that passed through the zoo. August 1st, 1944. The Polish underground, the Armia Krajowa, launches the Warsaw Uprising against German occupation forces. Jan Żabinski participates directly. The uprising is suppressed after 63 days of urban combat. Jan is captured. He is transferred to a prisoner of war camp and held until the end of the war. Antonina remains on the zoo grounds with their son Richard. The German occupation of Warsaw ends in January 1945 following Soviet advances. Jan returned to Warsaw in 1945. What remained on the grounds, who was still there, what the villa held during the final months of occupation. None of this entered, a document that has been recovered. The final months of occupation produced no administrative record of the villa's interior life. Not because nothing happened, because nothing that happened inside those walls was ever submitted to a document. That was the point. That was how it worked. And it is also why so much of it is gone. Jan and Antonina Żabiński were recognized as righteous among the nations by Yad Vashem, the institution responsible for documenting Holocaust rescue. The figure most commonly cited for those sheltered at the zoo is approximately 300. This number appears in secondary literature, including Diane Ackerman's 2007 account. It does not appear in a verified primary source count. The methodology by which it was established has not been independently confirmed. Antonina's wartime notes and her 1965 published memoir, Ludzi i zwierzęta, People and Animals, share a subject but not a status. One is a post-war popular account, shaped for an audience. The other is a wartime record whose full content, archival location, and relationship to the published version has not been independently established. No complete list of individuals sheltered at the zoo exists. This is not a gap in the scholarship. It is a direct consequence of how the rescue worked. The Warsaw Zoo continues to operate in the Praga district. The villa still stands on the grounds. John Żabiński died in 1974. Antonina died in 1971. Neither Antonina's memoir nor Ackerman's. 2007 reconstruction recovered the names of those sheltered there. The audience for both books was larger than the archive that survived them. Occupation record-keeping documented what the German administration authorized. What happened inside the authorization, behind the pig farming papers, within the villa, walls, in the basement spaces, and empty enclosures, was never submitted for the record. The concealment that protected those people from German authority also protected them from German documentation. That is why no list exists. That is what the list's absence means. And that is what it costs to survive inside a system that is trying to find you. You must become invisible, not just to your enemies, but to history itself.